Hello, everyone. So, I'd like today to share some of my perspective and observations on how I relate to the word of consciousness and what I feel we as human beings came here to this earth to experience, at least for now. Like, that's where I've reached my understanding and from my own reflections and, just the way that I observe the word. And I truly believe that we came here, like our souls asked to come in this form of human beings on this earth, to aside of experiencing life, aside of experiencing emotions, aside of experiencing love, music, death, food. Aside of all of that, I feel we came here to expand our consciousness, to see how we are relating to our consciousness and how we and what are the things. It's like an experiment that we got put into test to see, like how long do we stay stuck in fear? How long do we stay stuck in survival? What are the patterns that keep us, in the loop, in the cycle that's hold us back from actually progressing as human beings? And I feel like that's the evolution of humanity. The evolution of humanity in the sense that how can we, reach as a society, as a new social fabric with people with expanded consciousness that were able to break free from the survival patterns, from the war consciousness, from the poverty consciousness, and reach a higher level of creativity, of compassion, of empathy, of think of new thinkers, of new system thinkers. Like how can we make change the pendulum and make the peak becomes the majority of people? Because right now, if you look at the world around you, the majority of the people are kind of stuck in the bottom. And the bottom, in my perspective, like if I want to visualize it, I visualize it in the shape of a pyramid. I actually um I've been writing a lot lately and I kind of like drew how I've been like understanding what I am receiving or what my brain is analyzing. And I know you didn't see anything, but I'll try to share some of my images in a different video. But the way I look at it is that it's a pyramid, and at the base is the survival consciousness, the fear consciousness, the work consciousness, the poverty consciousness. And a lot of people, like, we need that base, because the pyramid without the base, without that foundation, there's no pyramid. There's no structure. So when we start thinking that that's the structure or the foundation of what we need to evolve to reach that higher consciousness, we start treating it and with a better awareness, with better appreciation. We start understanding that our fears and our struggles um, can actually be the fuel for our creativity. It can be the fuel for our transformation. It can be our fuel to reach higher consciousness and have a higher level of awareness, because consciousness equal, the perceptive of, or what you see, like how much are you able to see, the level of your awareness. So it's, we use the conscious word loosely, but everything has consciousness. Even that low level has consciousness. And unfortunately, a lot of people get stuck in the survival loop, because they're not taking the time to really sit, reflect on the patterns. They're not taking the time to sit and reflect about their internal fragmentation. They're not taking the time to sit and reflect about where they are out of alignment, right? We are so distracted these days as a society. We are so used to putting the blame on something that is outside of us. We're so used to, be the victim instead of taking responsibility and accountability. And the more that we are the victims, the more we are going to stay stuck in that foundation, and we're not going to be able to evolve. And the same way that the base is the foundation, so is the peak of the pyramid. If you take that peak out, then there is no pyramid, there is no existence of life. So we also need people that have been able to break free from that cycle of survival, and they were able to transform. The middle part is the transformation, and they did reach the peak, right? Because those are the people that now, how I personally see it, and I truly believe there becomes like, an automatic turn, or like an automatic shift within, that they really feel like now their purpose and their goal is to be of service. They understood life from a different perspective, and they want to be of service to shift society forward, because they can see how beautiful life can be when we reach those states. And that doesn't mean that when you're in higher consciousness, that means there's no struggle. Our relationship with struggle shifts. That's what's important. And what's important is that how we need to shift our perception on struggle that is not, put on us. But when we understand that struggle is actually the fuel for our growth, the struggle is the fuel that we need to thicken our skins, to learn new skills, to be more creative, to be more compassionate, to be more empathetic, we start experiencing struggles differently. Now, again, I'm not comparing all struggles as the same, because there's a lot of unnecessary struggles and suffering that is happening to us right now. And I solely believe that the wars that's happening all around the world is, there are signs, there are data. We should be taking these in consideration to show us how much we are stuck on that foundation. We're stuck in survival, we're stuck in that very low fear consciousness. And if we're not going to take the time to pause, to really reflect and sit within our own shadow and self, and understand, who we are, beyond the aesthetics, beyond the roles and responsibilities, understand your qualities, understand how you respond to life, how your different personalities. Every person has a different personality, but unfortunately we wear a mask. And it's time that we shed these masks away and face ourselves in the mirror and ask ourselves, who are we? Who are we beyond and behind those masks? Who are we? Because earth earth needs us, humanity needs us to really integrate, needs us to sit and reflect, needs us to ask these questions. And I also believe that those people that are able to sit and transform and break those patterns and cycles, and they do reach higher levels of consciousness, or they become more creative, they're the people that are thinking of new systems, they're the people that are thinking of the new ways of being. If they're not connecting with the base to understand what the people need, then they're not part of the pyramid, right? Then the pyramid, the flow of the pyramid is out of harmony, and it's going to be out of balance, because there needs to be a cycle of reciprocity between the two. There needs to be all the visions that we need to come up with, all the new creations, all the innovations, all the technologies. If they're not responding for the needs of the people, then who are we creating for? And this is when we need to discern, and we really need to sit. Like, it's good that we, like, obviously I do believe that someone needs to do things for themselves first and foremost. But when our creation becomes destructive for society, but we become so happy about it just because it's innovative, what defines innovation then? What is innovation? So so I what I wanted to say is that, our relationship to fear and our relationship to survival in a way needs to shift, so we can start looking at all the negative qualities that we think as negative as a gift. Let's really look at them as gifts to fuel us to reach creativity, to reach more stability, more peace, more happiness, because I truly believe that no one is free until we're all free as humanity. So even the people that reached higher consciousness, they're not free until we are all free. So it's important that we kind of support one another in sharing these tools and sharing perspectives and sharing, the process, so we can support one another and understanding that it's not easy. It's not easy to break patterns. It's not easy to sit and face your shadows. It's not, but it's necessary. And the second that you get over the hardest part, which is acknowledging that you do need to, break something and change something, and then you're stuck in a loop and stuck in a cycle, everything in my perspective and from my experience becomes easier, because now there's more excitement to see how you're going to be progressing as you evolve. If I was to look at myself and my journey, I won't go so far, I'll just say a year ago, and I'll watch the video of me talking right now, I'll be like, who is this girl? Truly. Because I wasn't able to even come up and face the camera and speak. I was in such fear consciousness. I was in a state of, victimhood. But I did the work, and it's not easy. I'm telling you, it's not easy. But it can be extremely fun because we can make it fun, because you know the reward. You start seeing the rewards on micro portions. So those micro portions can be seeds for something bigger. And a lot of people, in my perspective, are scared to take this step because somewhere in their subconscious and somewhere in their knowing kind of feel and know that their world is going to shift upside down, and there's going to be certain people that they're not going to lose, and there are going to be certain habits that they need to let go of. So a lot of people are not ready for that change because they got very comfortable with what is right now. But trust me, the world, the earth, humanity can't tolerate that anymore. It can't. We need you. We need you to step it up a little bit. We need you to start taking accountability and responsibility for your own actions. Rewrite yourself, rewrite your story. What are your values? What are you here to do? What are your qualities that make you unique? You can't just be in survival mode. We're all unique beings, authentic. So why do we need to follow one trend? Why can't you find your own trend? Why can't you write your own story, your own song? Why do you need to follow someone else's song and story? So I really invite you to take the time to sit with yourself, to get to know who you are, to start asking the questions. Ask and you shall receive. And sometimes we might not receive what we think we need, but we receive what we actually need to evolve. And what you think you want will come with time. But maybe life is just preparing you, because I really feel life is not easy. Being a human being is not easy. And everything that we experience in life is a battlefield preparing us for something better. And I so believe that the signs and the voices of support are always around us. But we need to cleanse our eyes, we need to cleanse our ears, we need to cleanse our bodies, our hearts, so we can actually start seeing and listening to the signs that are guiding us to the intended path that we're supposed to be on. And what's happening right now in the world, you know, everything is surfacing up to the water. The corruption, the fear. Forget the war. Evil is responding with what they know. Evil equal evil. It's like we shouldn't be shocked, but we should be looking at how we can shift and change if we really need that change. Because no system will change if the change is not starting within. Then what's the point if we create policies if we're not truly believing it? Then we're creating another failed system, another broken system, then we're creating things that are we're allowing it to control us. Again, rather than us changing from within, changing the collective narrative with this new consciousness and awareness that we have curated within, we consciously start creating these by the thoughts that we put out in the air. Because our essence, the essence is your foundation, the foundation of who you are, right? It's the qualities that you makes you unique, and it's who you are when you came to this earth, before what was thrown to you and what you were pushed and told that you need to be. And then when you adopt stories that are not yours from society and from people around you, those stories are going to start impacting your thoughts. They're going to start impacting the choices, the relationships, the systems, and the structures. So if everything is being built from a very wrong and fragmented foundation, from a very toxic foundation, so imagine you go and find the root cause of the problem and you fix that root cause of the problem. Now everything in your life is going to be designed from a healthy foundation. You have a healthy home, you have a healthy structure, you have healthy columns and pillars to hold whatever life you want to be built on top. And then your thoughts are going to be put energetically to the air, to the collective. And if you're doing it, I'm doing it, we're all doing it, then we're all collectively agreeing that we need to create a shift of way of being and a shift of systems and a shift of consciousness. But if we're all stuck in that base of fear, base of poverty, base of survival, base the base of corruption, then what thoughts are we putting out to the world? All these thoughts are stemming from that consciousness, and hence that's why we keep getting stuck in the same cycle and the same loop. So please take the time to sit and reflect. And if you need any kind of support, I'm more than happy to answer any question you have. Just comment. And if you want to learn more about anything, just also comment, and I'm more than happy to share more about my journey with you. All right, I'm sending you so much love. Bye.